Hey, this is Pink Pantyhose, where comedy meets feminism. I'm your host, Naya Brooks, and thank you all for listening to my podcast. You could do anything with your ears. You can clean your ears, you can pierce your ears, but the fact that you're giving me your ears to listen to my podcast, I appreciate you all so much. Today, we are talking about the importance of taking yourself on dates and my love for Tiffany Haddish. I love you so much, Tiffany Haddish. So back in 2017, that's when I really got down with Tiffany Haddish. Super funny lady, super funny comedian. I just love how outspoken she is. She's just a fool, y'all. So funny. It's so authentic and genuine. And this week, I read her book, The Last Black Unicorn. I was supposed to read that book, but it sold out in Barnes & Noble, and I'm just cheap. So I found someone who had the book, and I was like, yo, let me borrow your book. I read this book, y'all, in less than a week. Keep in mind that I'm a full-time professional. I go to school until 10:30 at night, and I've picked up multiple books over the years, but I also put them down and haven't completed many books. But completed The Last Black Unicorn within a week, y'all. Less than a week. Because it's a good read. Tiffany Haddish is so entertaining. I recommend it. My only critique is that Tiffany Haddish doesn't have the best writing skills. And I say that as someone with a college degree. And I'm just have very high writing standards, y'all. Oftentimes in a book, she would repeat the same idea multiple times in multiple sentences. But in her defense, and she talks about this in her book, she didn't learn how to read until 9th grade because she grew up with people telling her that she's stupid, that she's not worthy, that she's not going to be anything. So she didn't have the confidence in herself to take school seriously, at least academically. And a teacher pulled her aside in 9th grade, and she learned how to read within a month. Yeah, in her defense. And also, she can get away with not being a good writer because she's Tiffany freaking Haddish. Like, the content was so entertaining, y'all. She's definitely a good storyteller. And when I was reading this book, The Last Black Unicorn, I was crying, y'all, because the story of Tiffany Haddish resonates with me. Specifically, her having a low self-esteem in her relationships with men. Because Tiffany grew up with people telling her that she was ugly, especially her mother. Her mother will oftentimes beat her, and she later learned this in life, that her mother saw herself in Tiffany. So it's kind of like she was beating up herself. But also, Tiffany looked like her father, and her mother hated her father because he left them when she was at the age of 3. So she thought she was ugly. And in addition to when she was in high school, boys would reject her. She couldn't get the boys that she wanted. And just ongoing in her 20s, like, her dating life wasn't the best. Like, she experienced so much rejection with men, like them being abusive or possessive or jealous. And one of her comedian friends had to tell her, like, yo, Tiffany, stop acting like you ugly. Like, don't be thirsty. Smile, look away. If he wants you, he'll come talk to you. And I experienced something similar. Like, I was told I was ugly in grammar school. I was teased for being hairy, for being fat, not being pretty. And I internalized that. And me not having a boyfriend, or not too many boyfriends, in grammar school and high school, and now in my 20s, like, I feel like I'm ugly. And Tiffany said this herself too, like, you think you ugly on the inside, but on the outside, you're really pretty. No, I ain't Tiffany Haddish fine, because she is fine, y'all. Super fine. But I ain't ugly either. So just me dealing with men, not having the best relationships with them, that just brought me to tears. And I just understood her, and I was just frustrated, like, yo, what you got to do to be in a healthy relationship with a man, a decent looking man? It's just hard. So Tiffany, thank you so much for creating that book, for publishing that, for being vulnerable, for being transparent, for sharing your story. You inspired me in so many ways, and you're just a role model to me, because your book is humorous resilience. Like, it's funny, but it's just, read that book if you feel like you are nobody in life. If you feel like life is unfair, you need to read The Last Black Unicorn. I recommend it. It will put some confidence in you like no other. But let's talk about going on dates with yourself. So last fall, I vowed to myself, I'm going to start loving myself like I want someone else to love me, and taking myself on dates. And for New Year's Eve in 2017, I was in Chicago, and I booked a ticket to go see Tiffany Haddish live at this comedy show with D-Ray and a whole bunch of other comedians. And I remember I had my sister press my hair, straighten it. I haven't had my hair straightened since 2011, 2012. My mom pressed it. Usually I just wear my afro, put water on it, woo, woo, woo. And I bought this new dress and new heels from Akira. I usually don't shop there because it's pricey. And a lot of club clothes. Like, I need more professional clothes. But I bought this velvet dress. It was low cut, navy blue, had the titties out, you know, Got some sparkly jewelry and some sparkly shoes. They were apricot color. Why I know the color apricot? Because of Crayola. Thank you, Crayola, for educating me. But they were apricot tannish color, and they had like all these sparkles on it. Because I love velvet, y'all, and I love sparkles. And on a day of New Year's Eve on the show, I was taking lifts everywhere because it was cold. It was -degrees, and I had my heels on. And it was late at night. And I think it was a Sunday or a Saturday. The buses weren't running like they used to. And I was just like, yo, this is a date for myself. I'm going to give myself nice treatment. And to me, nice treatment is buying a lift. And I don't think the lifts were shared either. I wasn't being cheap that day. And I went to White Palace Diner or Cafe, wherever it's called. It's off of Roosevelt and Canal. They have the best French toast, y'all. I love their French toast. And I went there because it's open 24/7. And the first time I went there was on Thanksgiving Day. And I remember eating my food and leaving, waiting for my lift. And this guy was like, yo, what you want? Woo, woo, woo. And I was thinking in my head, like, boy, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. And I was just like, yo, I bought this lift by myself. I bought this dress by myself. I bought this meal by myself. I'm going to this show by myself. Get out my face, fool. And I go to the show. And I hate when this happens. I hate when guys talk to you and they can't give you a compliment. They have to say something stupid in order to get your attention. Like this man, he was like, oh, aren't you cold? Like, why are you looking at my titties? Like, and second of all, I'm in a building. Why would I be cold inside a building? Like, you just sound stupid. Why couldn't you just say, oh, you look really pretty tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. You have to say some dumb stuff like, oh, aren't you cold? Why your old ass looking at me? I hate a dumb nigga, y'all. I hate a dumb nigga who don't know how to talk to women. But anyways, he didn't ruin my show. Ruined my show, y'all. No, I'm joking. Nothing ruined my show. But I was just sad seeing all the couples looking fly. But I had to remind myself. I was like, Naya, you tried to date people, but they didn't see your worth. So you're going to be by yourself, and you're going to be strong, and you're going to love on yourself. Because you made it this far, you're going to keep making it. And I went into the show empowered, sitting by myself, because I'll go places by myself. I can do bad by myself, y'all. Sometimes it's rough, but I'll still do it. And I went to the show, and it was funny. I love Lil Rel, D-Ray, and Leon Rogers. They're all from Chicago and super funny. Tiffany Haddish came on the stage. She had a sparkly dress, and I was like, ooh, Tiffany, hey. And I was sitting kind of close, not too far, but close enough. And I will be honest, she wasn't the funniest. I've seen her funnier in other videos and interviews in her special, but she wasn't that funny at this show. But I'll still rock it with her because she's Tiffany. And you know, women, we have to support other women, put money in each other's pockets. And what frustrated me is that people were yelling during the show, like, I spent over $100 on this ticket. Shut the F up. But men, being stupid men, they were interrupting her show. And this is how you know we don't live in a post-sexist society. This is how you know we don't live in a post-sexist society. People wonder, like, oh, why do we need feminism, blah, 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 because stuff like this. So men were shouting out, show me your booty and give me your number. And Tiffany was like, you show me your booty. And my number is infinity because something. She was bouncing back, y'all. But this was rude because, one, we paid tickets. We want to listen to Tiffany, not your old drunk asses back there. But two, when you have a show, it's only a certain amount of time because it was multiple comedians on stage, like, or performing. There was multiple comedians performing. So she only had a certain amount of time. And with all the interruptions and her addressing them, she had to stay focused. So they was ruining the whole show. And at some point, she was just like, yo, she started grilling their asses. She was like, how you going to show up to this show on New Year's Eve in some joggers or some sweats? And I was rolling. But Tiffany, you held it down. You did the best that you could. First of all, just the fact that you got up on stage, and comedy is super hard. It's hard to make people laugh and do it well. But the fact that you had to persevere through that show despite men disrespecting you, because they weren't doing that to the other men. They were listening to him. Tiffany Haddish was the only one they were interrupting, because it just goes to show that as a woman, no matter how much success or status you achieve or reach, men, unfortunately, there's stupid men who are out there who are going to just see you as a sex symbol, as a piece of meat, only for your physical appearance. But Tiffany, I'm going to keep supporting you. If you do something on New Year's Eve, I hope you do, so I can go on another date with myself. And someone told me, how you spend your New Year's Eve or day is how you spend your year. So I spent my year going on dates by myself. being single. Hey. And all throughout this year, I've been going out to eat and justifying spending X amount of money on going out to eat with food. It's reflected in my bank account that I'm single. And also just supporting Tiffany Haddish. So this year I've been to her movie Uncle Drew with Lil Rel. And I'm going to see her movie Night School with Kevin Hart. I love Kevin Hart too. I'm going to see them later in this September. And I'm going to see Nobody's Fool, where Tiffany Haddish is in jail. Her sister is dating someone who's catfishing her. And Tiffany Haddish helped her solve the problem. So I'm just super excited for the future success of Tiffany Haddish. And just go, first of all, support other women, y'all. The second thing is go on dates by yourself. You can do bad by yourself. You don't need nobody to validate you. Go have time, get dressed up, do everything you would do on a regular date, but just for yourself. But yeah, this is my podcast. Thank you all for listening to Pink Pantyhose, where comedy meets feminism. I'm your host, Nia Brooks, and I appreciate all the love from y'all. Bye.